Hey, this is Gerard Dawson here with a teaching resource for you in the form of a video about a new website and web application that I've been trying out called WriteLab. Now, for me, one of the most difficult parts of teaching students to write better and write independently is getting them to make revisions on their own and getting them to reread their writing mindfully. To be honest, I've tried peer revision, and that can work sometimes, but it really depends on the social dynamic of the class. And I've tried and rely heavily on giving students a lot of feedback, but I still want to lead students towards making revisions independently. After playing around with WriteLab a little bit, I've decided that it's a very useful tool for doing exactly this. I'm going to copy this Google Doc just so I can later use it with the WriteLab application. Here's the home page after you log in. To create a new document, it's as simple as that, and I will name this WriteLab test. You have two options. You can either enter your text directly into this white space, or you can choose a file, such as a Microsoft Word document, and upload it into WriteLab. I'll just paste my writing right into the white area, and then after I click submit, WriteLab will analyze the text and offer suggestions over in this left bar. So we'll see that it works fairly quickly, and within seconds WriteLab has made 6 suggestions for me about my writing. You'll notice that they have various topics that the suggestions fall under. And my suggestions fall under clarity, emphasis, and concision. So as I look at the first two, I notice that these are not suggestions that I'm going to take, but they're still things that are important to be mindful of. So in the second sentence, I've used the phrase, "thanks to WriteLab." And it points out here, the word thanks has a verb form. Using this verb might help you clarify the actions in your sentence. So it's saying I might instead say something like, teachers thank WriteLab. Not appropriate for this sentence, but still an interesting thing to consider. Let's get into this third suggestion, which is for this longer sentence here. The program has suggested that I can tighten the sentence by removing "so," but first you should consider how the meaning of your sentence could change without it. So notice how that piece of advice is very useful to students, because it does not simply suggest that they make a change, it asks them to consider how the meaning of their sentence will be affected if they decide to make that change. And then moving on to the next one, it says that I might be able to do without the word "seems." Again, it gives me something to do. Experiment with removing it, then read your sentence out loud. And notice, it doesn't tell the student, you should change this. It asks the student to go through a process of making the decision on his or her own. This last suggestion is another example of how WriteLab helps me become more mindful of my word choice. So it says under emphasis that you draw attention to decide by using different forms of the word. And I say, analyze your decisions and decide whether or not you'd like to take the feedback or stick with your original decision. So maybe I want to add some variety and change this to choice. I could change this to writing. And now the sentence is a little less repetitive because there wasn't too much of a need for me to emphasize the word decide. So there were the 6 suggestions that WriteLab has made. I have a log of the changes that I've addressed and the ones that I considered not helpful. The last thing I would do is copy this text from WriteLab and put it back into my document. And in fact, what I've decided to do is leave the original, paste the new version below so that I can compare them. So that's WriteLab. You can see that it does not do the work for you, but does allow you to become more mindful of your writing decisions and may help students to do more revision on their own than they would have when without using a program like this. So thanks for watching this video. Please let me know what you think in the comments and share this if you found it useful. Thanks.